So I'm going to show you one way to reduce the texture memory usage on your avatar. And a lot of people just don't know about this or how like compression can work with textures. So I'm just basically going to teach you. It's pretty simple once you kind of understand it conceptually. That's the hardest part, is the conceptual understanding. So if you're like an audiophile, you understand that there's like uncompressed audio and there's compressed audio. And in compressed audio, there's lossy and lossless. A lossy file is like an MP3, and a lossless file is like a FLAC. The lossless file will sound much closer to the uncompressed file. Now, we're not going to upload uncompressed textures. That's just not a good idea. But we're going to try and get something that is fairly lossless while still having the lower download. The thing that happens in your computer's memory is the computer has to interpret the compression and put it into RAM. So the resulting file that ends up in your RAM is closer in size to the lossless file, the uncompressed file, but one's going to have lower quality than the other because of the compression algorithm used. So with that concept in mind, you take a 4K texture and it can be very lossily compressed or very lossless compressed, and it's going to create the same size in your VRAM. You basically want to reduce the size of the texture so it uses less VRAM, but you want to increase the quality of the compression so it still looks good. So with the concept kind of presented and planted to you, stir on it while I'm going to look at this booth asset that I have here. Now, I was going to put this on my avatar at some point, but I kind of forgot about it and I bought it. So this uses Little Tune. So this is our main color texture, and it's going to be here. And when we open it up, we're going to see that it is a 4K texture. It uses crunch compression, and it has 100%. You can see here the preview, and you can see here. So these types of textures is going to be to your discretion how you want to do this. But 4K is going to be pretty big in your texture memory, in the texture memory. So I'm just going to start by bringing this down to be a 2K. I'll apply it. And here it looks fine. It doesn't look any different to me from this distance. So I'm going to bring it back up to 4K. And I'm going to zoom in. And when I'm this close, of course, it's going to look worse. Yeah, it obviously looks worse. But you need to understand that if you look at a texture this close, it's going to look bad. So, and everyone's going to be like this far away from you at like pretty much at minimum, unless you're like cuddling, which a lot of people do. I'm one of them. So from here, it looks fine. So if we juice it even more, it still looks pretty good, but you can see a loss in quality. So I'm going to bring it here. At 2K. And I'm going to take off this crunch compression, because crunch compression is a lossy form of compression. I'm going to bring it back down to 1K, and I'm actually going to use high quality compression. And from here, I personally didn't see a decrease in quality. It may have been, but if I zoom in, yeah, the decrease in quality is there. You can't read that text. But if you have text like this, you are better off using a detail. Oh no, it's called a stencil in your texture, which is going to allow you to have something really high quality and small. This is for the main texture. There's also this booth asset doesn't include metallic smoothness maps, but metallic smoothness maps are pretty resilient to reducing the size and the compression. So those you can like bring them down and like crunch compress. You'll use normal quality. So I'm gonna hide this vest so I can look at this these pants. So hopefully the video records it, but these pants have a normal map, and this, which is this. Normal maps do not like crunch compression. Do not, this is something I'm going to scream into the void on. Do not use crunch compression on normal maps. It destroys them and they do not work. So if I take it off, it already looks better. But it's really high quality. Normal maps use a lot of memory. So you can, oh, I'm blocking it. So yeah, this is 21.3 megabytes. It's kind of hard to see, but the nice thing about normal apps is, I'm just going to get close so you can see, is they really do like high quality compression. So I'm going to actually bring this down a lot. And at least at this, on the sides, you can still see it. It's still like very obviously there. This shader particularly doesn't show the normal maps straight on. Normal maps just determine how reflections of light will work on a flat surface or a it basically emulates polys where polys don't exist. So that's looking pretty good, and then you can still see it on that, and you can still see it. So going from 4K to 1K is going to, I think, reduce the texture memory by 16 times, because you divide it by 4 from 4K to 2K, divide it by 4 again, which will be 1K. So with basically just that simple rule of just follow the rule of 4 to 6 feet away, if it still looks good, it's good. If it looks bad, then you're bringing up the quality. But from here, I think this can look good. I think there can be a couple extra things like detail normals and stencils to make it look better, but overall, this is going to be a great reduction in the use of VRAM.